President Trump has responded to Elon Musk expressing his frustrations with the big beautiful bill, saying that they've been undermined and all of their hard work was in vain. President Trump has a few things he wants to say about that, but before we get into it, let's check out this clip from Glenn Beck perfectly breaking down the big beautiful bill and what needs to be done in order for this to work. I think everyone will like this take. Let's get into it.
We do not do the things we must do now. And I'm going to give that list to you here. In fact, let me do that now. The number one thing that everybody should be asking for in this big, beautiful bill is not necessarily more cuts. I'd like more cuts. But remember, we have to spur on the economy. How do we do that? We have to stabilize our laws, make sure that we are focusing on education. This is a longer term thing, the education. Stabilizing our laws to make sure they apply to everyone equally. Do the exact opposite of what New York did when they went after Donald Trump's business, even though other businesses do exactly the same thing. You cannot have a growing economy if you don't have stable laws. So you have to strengthen the DOJ and the FBI. President Trump is doing that. You do have to cut, but you have to cut strategically. That's what DOJ was doing. Congress is not doing their part by even passing the minimum of what DOJ did. That's Congress's fault. Then you need the REINS Act, because the biggest thing that will spur on the economy that we can actually do, we can't cut taxes anymore. We can't cut the budget dramatically, which we have to do. So what do? We've already lowered the cost of energy dramatically. We're already getting foreign investment, which will help us reshore for our workers. That's longer term. We have the game changer. It's AI. Here's what we don't have. Low regulation. We have to have low regulation. So I want you to call Congress and the Senate and say, put the REINS Act in the big, beautiful bill. Because then you don't have to keep going over and over and again and saying, well, will the Supreme Court allow us to do this? Well, did Congress pass that money, et cetera, et cetera. It puts the power back where it belongs in Congress for all of these regulations. And it defangs this out-of-control, bloated government because it requires that Congress passes all of the regulations. Well, they're not going to pass a lot of them, are they? That's why they got rid of them. This is a Woodrow Wilson progressive tool. Get rid of it, make it an administrative state. The REINS Act is imperative. You want to survive? Pass the REINS Act. It is the only tool that we have that will have positive consequences, and I can't think of any negative consequences because we restore the power the way it is in the Constitution, and we cut all of the insane regulation quickly, which spurs on growth. That's what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's like, we cannot cut our way out of this debt. We have to grow our way out of this debt and then begin to cut. This is why the tariffs, this is his logic on the tariffs. I'm going to get foreigners to pay taxes so we can put that in. I don't believe in that, but he does. That's what he's trying to do. Everything he's trying to do makes sense if you understand the problems that we have. You may not agree with the solutions, but at least somebody is pursuing a solution. You know, there was a great article out today, and we put it in the prep because it is so important. It's from Victor Davis Hanson. And he says, look, historically, if you don't fix this now, historically, he said, from Greece to Rome, through the Middle Ages to the Renaissance, there are only three ways of dealing with unsustainable debt, and none of them are good. They're all civilizational killers. Number one, the Weimar Republic did it in Germany. You pay back what you owe in cheap dollars. You inflate the dollar. And then you bankrupt what really helped cause the depression. You can do that. You can pay back the $37 trillion in inflated dollars. It's just not good. It is the Weimar Republic. Number two, you can confiscate private wealth. People do that all the time throughout history. This destroys the legitimacy of the government. It makes private investors hide their money. Confiscate the wealth. You're already seeing leftists say that is exactly what we have to do. It never works. Never works. It didn't work in Athens. It didn't work in Rome. It didn't work in Renaissance Italy. It doesn't work. And the last one is the most drastic, and it's a killer too. South America has tried this one, and it's just renounce the debt. Just say, you know what, guys, we're not going to pay you back. All three of those are civilization killers. So pay attention to this because your lifestyle is about to change.
Yep, I do believe that he is on point with all of that. One thing for sure about Americans is no one likes their stuff being taken away. I sure don't. I wouldn't want any of my assets to be taken away that I've worked hard for. And I don't think anyone deserves that, whether you've accumulated a lot over the period of a long time or not. I don't believe it's the right thing to do to take people's assets, whether it's land, real estate, anything else, to pay back the wasteful spending that the government has done. That seems absolutely insane. That would 100% turn all the people on the government, and they would never trust the government again if you're going to take stuff from people. That is crazy. And then, of course, if we turn our backs on everyone and say that we're not going to pay anything back, no other countries will work with us ever again. And, we do need trade in order to really make the world go around. So, But let's hear Trump's take on Elon Musk and Elon Musk and Doge feeling like they're undermined by the big, beautiful bill, saying that everything that they did was in vain. Elon was showing some frustrations, but hopefully they can get some of the Doge cuts into the bill. Apparently they are working on that, and if that works, we'll be in good shape. Let's check it out.
Mr. President, Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill, saying he was disappointed it didn't cut enough, essentially, that it undercut the Doge efforts. What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was, we have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that. But we'll have a 65% increase.
I don't know what's bigger than a 65% increase in taxes. That would destroy everyone.
As opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and, it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune have done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. They'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions all over the world, not South America, all over the world. They're coming into our country, and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us, and it's tough enough. They approved that. They allowed that to happen to our country. We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill, and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax increase. And they're only doing it for hatred. They're not doing it for any reason. They know it's terrible. Terrible politics, in my opinion. But so we have no Democrat votes. That means we have to get almost all Republican votes. And I think we're very close to doing that.
That sounds absurd. It seems like very often you'll see that the Democrats all vote no on anything that the Republicans do. It just blows my mind to really see what these people's agenda, what it really is. I mean, what is happening? So, I don't know. I hope that they can get this bill passed, but I also really hope that he is going to be true to saying this is going to help the lower and middle class people, because that is the vast majority of Americans, and they're the ones that need the most help. Let's be real about it here. Middle class and lower class people need a tax break, big time. If we could save 15% of our taxes, that's great. If it could be more than that, that would be excellent. I feel like most people shouldn't be paying 20% of their earned income should not go to the government. It would be great if they could get it down to 5%, but that's probably not going to happen, right? No tax on overtime definitely needs to pass. They need to make sure that that goes through, because that's going to motivate people to work as much overtime as possible, knowing that they're getting time and a half, double time. If they're not getting tax on it, that is going to make jobs explode. So hopefully it will be as good as they say it is. But I'm still a little nervous about what else is going to be in there that we don't know about. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. And you guys let me know your thoughts down below. You're watching the Unexplained Outlook. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Peace.